Hello? Hello, hello, hello. Hello, AZ. Welcome to the live stream. I hope my camera's okay. Is it okay? Well, okay, it is okay. I totally didn't goof up the stream. It's been a while. Yeah, I haven't seen you forever, Ink. What the heck? I started the stream and then I switched it to face cam instead of doing it on studio mode. So there was just like a section of me just like cleaning. So I resetted the stream. So it was a goof. It was a little goof on my part. Ursula's out playing ball with the dog, so I gotta like what's the word, stall? I need stall for you guys. Let me pop out the chat so I can actually read what you guys are saying while not having to look at y'all. Oh my goodness. Okay, Rainbow Road, you are a little loud in my little ears. There we go. There we go, there we go. Hello, Kairos. Hello, hello. Yep. I just finished doing some some one-on-one critique with ink because I do that. You said my name right? Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, Karios. I'll make sure not to say it correctly the next time. Oh my goodness. I only have AZs to do, so I'm really stalling. I don't even have AZs open, so that would be a good start. Oh my god, I slept in this morning. And by slept in, I mean I slept to my usual time, but my usual time is not good. So yesterday we had an event scheduled that I forgot about. It was like a festival, a book festival, if you will. And yeah, I was supposed to do that, but then I just didn't have to do it. There was a huge thunderstorm and it was like an outside event, so it got canceled and moved to today. And since we'd already moved the critique stream over to today, um, yeah, it was for naught. And I ended up not going to Bookfest. Aw, dang, that's okay. I don't like leaving the house all that much. Um, yeah, I have to go to Calgary soon to meet my what is it? My niece, baby, small creature. I have a brilliant scheme of trying to color all of Pretty Mouth in a month because I really want to start working on the magpie. Um, I don't know how long Ursula's gonna last. I will start with AZs and then I'll stall for however long I need to do that. And then I'll go back to like coloring. My hope would be to do more streaming again because that was going well, and then I just stopped for no real reason. Um, oh, my nose. Ugh. I don't have a Kleenex. That sucks. Just gotta deal with it, I guess. Um, yeah, it's good. I liked it as as per usual. Um, uh, um, yay! Yeah, there you go. That was my critique. Um, yeah, no, everything's moving at like a good clip. I like the addition of like tension for Both plots, like Dez's is good. There's some amount of like intrigue with it. I like uh Sarah. Why do I always forget their names? I'm just so bad at names. Um, but yeah, Sarah. Um, Mourning him off. Gil and stuff. I liked that. Um, I could have included more, but then I'd have to split up the scene too much, and I thought it'd be easier on you that way. Oh, thank you. Um, yeah, I liked that. I like the continuing having a lot of fun with writing this part, officially entering the later half of the story, and it's all coming together. Yeah, I like the escalation with like Rory and like the farm and the money issues coming to head, and all of like Dez's stuff coming together. Um, I like how my TTS said Gesundheit. Um, it was so weird and robotic and strange, and I have no clue from whence that came. It changed voices entirely. It wasn't German at all. It was just very strange. What else? These are like the most important concerns I have. I like that like it just tries to speak Gaelic and then it like for every other thing it's just like completely throws me off. Bones likes the chapter. Bones likes the chapter, exactly. I am excited. I want to see more. I like I like her saying that he totally fancies ladies. That's good. That's fun. I'm surprised it even tries with Gaelic. I would assume it'd have no idea. I think maybe it just doesn't recognize it as a language. Like maybe it's like with like the big languages that like are spoken more common, like maybe it has the wherewithal to be like, oh, this is a different language. I'll switch to that TTS, and then it just doesn't have one for Gaelic, so it goes for it. Because it'll do that with like Con Lang too. I've got a big buffer with my chapters. Yeah, I heard that. Um, it's fun for me to go back and see the chapter I wrote over a month ago. It is always fun. Like I love those having the fresh eyes on things. Good TTS trying its best. Yeah, exactly. It was probably because I was using what is this? What am I using? Whenever I use like the Mac one, like the built-in on my computer one, it is trying its best. It's the one that likes to switch and be wild. The one I pay for is a lot more. It always goes for it too, but it doesn't like randomly change voices. It switches for Gesundheit. It switched over to like this one that it does whenever it encounters like characters it doesn't recognize or like Unicode. Like when people do that thing on Twitter, um, where they change all of their letters to like these weird like italic letters, but they're not actually italicized letters. They're just like their own characters. It will read out every single character by its code, and it is the most frustrating thing ever. But it always changes voices to do that. Exactly. That's what I was thinking. I was like, it's used enough in like the English speaking world. Yeah, a short cup. Yeah, not a lot of questions, not a lot of comments. We're just stalling for Ursula now.
Stalling for me?
Yeah, I'm stalling for you.
Let me start down a granola bar.
Scarfing down a granola. Bada beep. Oh my god, I part of the reason I ended up sleeping in is because I have a screen door for my room and now all of the cats just like to sit out front of it and yell every morning. Lear was crazy this morning. He was yelling so much. There's always like a little point of time where Amalthea comes up and yells at me for a little bit, but she leaves. But Lear was yowling. And then he threw up. It was great. One thing though is like the whole plot with Des and the gang is about to um but I think for draft 3 I want to have it a lot sooner. That would make sense. I feel like it's too big a conflict and intrigue to have it starting out so late. Yeah, I could see that. It felt like there was some kinds of like hints of it maybe before, but like not that big. And it's hard for me to say because like I read the first draft. You coming over? I'm stalling for you. You looking cute? I popped out all of your little guys, but they're not labeled because I don't know how to do that. Uh huh.
Special tricks.
I don't know your special tricks. No one taught me. Where is OBS? Okay. I'm just gonna. I'll switch over to like the streaming soon, and then you can like all set up and stuff. And you don't have to worry about how you look and stuff. Here, you're gonna have a dragon.
Oh,
Don't play with this one. It's loud. It's really fun. This.
The Wholesome Judgement Day. Man, I got a Fedor outside.
Yeah, good. I'm not gonna let him
in. Good. Yeah. And stay outside.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Hello. How are we all doing today? I hope we're doing good. I love Bones' K-Worm shirt. It's so cute. Hello. Yeah. Easy said it was cute. Or that they like it. But I feel like that implies it's cute, you know? Sorry for the wait, guys. I'm just setting my stuff up. I forget how forget how to set things up. Do, do. Hum hum hum. The heck? My video just Doesn't want to appear. What the heck? Oh. Getting it to work now. Hope everyone's having a good day. Sorry, guys. I'm just so unprepared for stream today. I'm a heckin' mess.
Yeah, you should have prepared before I did my thing.
Ugh. Ugh. Oh well. You live and you learn. Will they forgive me this time, though? I don't know. Okay, just grouping up these items. Okay. I'm here. That took a minute, but I'm here. All right. Let's get started. Who would like to go first? I do see Kuroe. So Kuroe, would you like to go first on this lovely adventure? So you have 3 designs for critique. They're principles that appear in detention. Okay. You got really quiet. Can you hear me now? Hello, hello. Yeah, okay, cool. I turned down the wrong microphone. That's what happened. Okay, perfect. You fixed it. Yay. I'm glad. Okay. Kuroe. Okay, so I'm assuming Detention is a comic. Have I seen designs for it before? And I'm assuming that since these are principals, that they're villains. Hello. You said yellow. I was like, what does that mean? I'm assuming it means hello. Yes, but it wasn't named. Okay. Alright, so I'm assuming these characters are villainous. Alright, so we have Angela. We have Samson. Or Samson, not Sampson. And Eutropios. Oh, it's a teacher romance comic. The first 2 are villains, the 3rd is good. Okay. I was like, this character looks so cute. Okay. So. Alright, so we have Angela. So. Okay. So we got some beige going on. We got some gray going on. Okay, the vibe I get from her is that she is very stern. She looks grumpy and stern and no nonsense. She looks like the mean villain who is there to make everyone's life hard. Each character has one main color. Oh, I like that. Okay, I can see. So then Samson is all black. And then Eutropios is green. Oh, that's neat. I like that. Okay, so her main color is gray. Nice. I like how I like the colors you've chosen because it is like gray and beige basically. She has like a little touch of gold for the earrings. But I do like how like what am I thinking here? There's good contrast throughout. I like the use of like the darker skirt and the shoes. Good contrast between like the white and the gray. I like some of the warmth that comes in through her skin tone. I'm not sure if you're using like a complete gray, like completely devoid of color, or if you're using like a gray that has like a bit of color brought into it, like a warm gray or something. But it feels warm, and I think that's just because of her skin tone being a bit like on the warmer side. At least compared to the gray. I think beside another character, her skin tone might be more cool. But yeah, and it looks like in lighting, I like how you added that too. I like how you added in, you know, here's her reference, like all the base colors. But I do like how you're experimenting with like how she'll look in the comic with color added. where she does take on a lot of the ambient color just because she is so gray. But I think it works because you've got her contrast down. And I do like the little spots of red just from like, you know, her being a human who has blood vessels in her face. But I like the little touches of red from lighting and through like her skin and stuff. I think that adds some nice color while not taking away from her palette. I also love her eyelashes. They're so severe. They spiky. She'll cut you with her lashes. And I also like how through her design she's very square. Like she's got a very square head, very square silhouette, very square pieces of clothing, square and rectangular. I think that works well. She's also like a bit more of a round character, I think, just because she's a bit stout, so she does read as round, but very like, I'm trying to figure lashes out. I like it. That one of my favorite, just a design quality I really like. I love the little spiky lower lashes. That's such a cute look. That's just a personal favorite. But I think what you've done here, it suits the way you draw eyes, where it feels very like geometrical and stylized the way like the rest of your work is, if that makes sense. And oh right, as for like shapes, so she's got the round hoop earrings. I think it works because her head, like her hair is has a bit of a roundness to it. Like it's still very square. So I think it works with the earrings. I'm wondering if there's some circles you could bring into the rest of her design. Maybe like bracelets, maybe like some stripes on the shirt, something like that. Buttons. The other option would maybe to make the hoop earrings like maybe kind of like a square hoop, a squared off kind of hoop shape. Like still the hoop dangly, but more squared off, if that makes sense. And I honestly, I see she has like a little ponytail, like she has short hair and a little ponytail. I honestly kind of, this is just a personal thing, but I kind of like her having the short hair, like no ponytail. It's just short. It's like a pixie cut. I don't know. It just feels like, because she's like an older lady. She's a senior woman. She's 67. And I just feel like, again, it depends on the person, but all the older ladies I knew always had short hair because it's just easier to manage. And it just feels very like, what would you call it? I feel like it suits her. She feels like, I don't know, no nonsense, keeping her hair short, nothing fancy, you know? She doesn't have time for that. She's too serious. But yeah, she comes across as grumpy, no nonsense. Kind of like not military, but you know, like super strict. That's the vibe I get from her. She's out here to enforce the rules, even if the rules are silly and shouldn't be enforced, but she's doing it. Oh man, 2 divorces, 3 children, 7 grandchildren. Cute. Cute. Jazz babies. We're all grown up and have babies. Okay, cool. Yeah, did you have any questions for Angelina? She is. That's why she's trying to shut the drama club down. No! Evil. Mean lady. We need drama. We need the drama kids to thrive. You know? That's great. Awesome. So we can go to Samson. Okay. So Samson is also a principal. Sarah never had that in school. It's probably more common in other places in different schools, but the way I had it in school was very like, we had our one principal And then we had a junior principal? What are they called? Assistant principal? There was a next step down who was also like a principal. But we didn't have like multiple high-ranking principals. If that makes sense. But again, I guess it depends on the school, right? First one is fired, second is temporary, third is the final one. Vice principal. Oh god. Leave me alone. I'm being attacked by a robot in my own house. Vice principal. Yes, that's the word. Thank you. Okay, I gotcha. So, okay. So she gets fired. This one comes in. And then he's the last one. Okay. Nice. Okay, so the vibe I get from Samson, he looks cool. He looks like he's like, hello, fellow kids. All three aren't there at the same time. Okay. I was wondering if it was maybe like because there's some like joint schools where you'll have like an elementary and then like a middle school and then a high school kind of thing. I was wondering if it was like this one runs the elementary school and this one runs the high school kind of thing. But yeah, no, that makes sense too. But yeah, Samson, he feels cool. Like he feels like he was a rock star in a former life and then became a principal. He like settled down to teach. But yeah, but I feel like he'd support the drama club. But maybe he's not a nice guy. I don't know. I don't know if he's too strict. I don't know if he feels like chaotic neutral, if that makes sense. He feels like he brings chaos to things. But I'm not sure if he's like cool, like if he's nice and cool, or if he's like kind of mean and aloof. It could go either way. Again, I like the examples using the different light and atmosphere. I think that really helps with understanding the character. There's a lot of warmth brought in through the lighting that you're doing, which is nice. Like it works, especially if it's like a teacher romance. Like, you know, you wouldn't want the colors to be all cool and scary. Save that for the horror stories. It depends if he wants to sleep with you or not. Oh no, he's a F boy, isn't he? You can't do that when you're 68 years old. That's cringy. It's always cringy, but gotcha. Okay, so okay. I was wondering with his 13 children with 11 different women. I was like, is he out here? Not supporting his children. Okay, so gotcha. He's maybe a bit of a chauvinist, maybe a bit of a creep. Don't love that. But a fun character to introduce into a romance. Okay, his shapes, he's got lots of little spikies going on. He's got very like triangle spiky hair. He's got lots of triangles in the shapes of his clothing, like the little points of his blazer, his collar, etc. I even like how you've made the legs kind of triangular, just with having him in some like, they're not skinny jeans, those are slacks, but like the point. If it was a woman, I'd call them pixie pants. I don't know what they are for men, but like they taper at the bottom. Oh god, only dates women's in their 20s and 30s. I guess 30s is fine. I think a 30-year-old can date a 60-year-old, but 20s is like sussy wussy. He's a major creep, yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Especially, you shouldn't flirt with people at the workplace when you are in charge. That's not appropriate. Okay. but anyways, the shapes. Lots of good triangle shapes going on. He's also got a very square build as well, because he has a very square face, very square body type. I do. Oh no, you figured out his arc. Is that how he gets fired? Oh no. Oh no. Right. So I do like how these two are both very squat. Like, it's a fun body type to play with. It also makes sense, like, for like an older character where, you know, they get a little squat, a little stout in their old age. Nothing wrong with that. I do wonder though if maybe a bit more of the triangle could be brought into his design. You know, he wouldn't necessarily have to be like super trim. You could still keep him very stout and a bit like of a wider character. Or even like a heavyset character, not just, you know, broad or wide. But I think a bit more of the triangle could be brought into the face and the silhouette, at least of the torso. I think the legs are good. I was gonna add patches to his jacket. Oh, that would work. That would be good. Yeah, I think the only issue is that, like, more biker-like. I like that. I think, yeah, the only issue is, like, he's got triangle elements, but his silhouette is very squared off. So, you could possibly change it if you want to, or not. That's also fine. But yeah. Yeah, and I think for a character where, like, his main color is, like, black, there's still good contrast between the different colors. Like, it's still, or the different pieces, it's still dark, which implies, like, the black kind of monochrome color scheme. Because he has, like, some kind of amber red eyes, but they're still dark. And then he's got, like, the matching belt buckle to his eyes. I wonder if there's maybe, like, one more element you could bring this kind of, like, dark red into. Maybe not, like, the whole tie, but maybe, like, an element on the tie. And if you're bringing in patches on the jacket, that could work too. But yeah. Otherwise, that's great. I love the wrinkles and details on the face, by the way. They're very good at, like, showing the age of the character. They definitely feel more mature. Yeah. Did you have any questions about Samson? Sorry, but Dunkel is the best last name. We love a Dunkel. No, that's great. Awesome. And then we have Eurotropios, who looks adorable. I love him. He looks so sweet. Wait, does he have sparkle on his tie? Oh my god, I love him. Okay. So, obviously the main color is green. So he's got, like, the matching green blazer and shoes. There's a bit of green to, like, the black hues. Like, it looks like there's a bit of a green tone to the hair, even though it reads as black hair. And then the pants look more gray. Okay, and then there's some green on the tie as well. And green eyes. They're pretty. Okay. Right. And then his skin tone also looks like it's pulled a bit more to, like, the kind of green yellow side, even though it's still, like, you know, dark brown skin. Okay. So I think the colors are very harmonious. I think there's some contrast issues that could easily be fixed. And I think it's mostly between this color green. The kid's names may give it away, but he's into Greek mythology. Oh, yeah. Yup. Bless. Yeah, but I think the gray of his pants and then the green from his blazer and shoes, they're just too close contrast-wise. So you could brighten them. I feel like the gray could stay as it is, but maybe for the green, maybe it needs to be lightened a little bit. Maybe it needs to be that could be really nice contrast wise if he had like a more pastel kind of green for the blazer and the shoes. And then I feel like that would contrast well with like the gray of the pants, his dark skin, his dark hair. But obviously if you want to keep like a darker color palette, that also works. Then I think you just need to heighten the contrast between these two. Yeah, because there's good contrast between like his skin, his hair, his eyes, and then with these colors. But yeah, the gray and the green are a bit too similar though. Yeah, so then his shape is very like rectangular. Like it's a more kind of long rectangle. Yeah, he feels like kind of like a stronger, boxier feel than, say, like the other characters who are a bit more like square. He's more rectangle. He's cute. I like him. I think there's also a bit of like a triangle vibe. Does that make sense? Because obviously he's got like the triangles in his like lapels. Although that's hard to avoid when you're putting like someone in a blazer. But yeah, but there's still some triangle shapes going through. As well as like with his face shape. Like it's very rectangle, but he's also got like the taper to his jaw to make it a bit more triangular. Yeah, he's so cute. Yeah, I think the lighting you've added, it works well because I think it contrasts really well with the green in his design. I'd be careful that if you're using like red for the lighting, and like warmer colors for lighting, that they're not like because when you have contrasting colors, so red and green are contrasting on the color wheel. They can sometimes like gray each other out. Like if you apply red to green, it makes the green go kind of gray. So just be careful with that. I think you need to be conscious of pairing them. So for example, if you're going to use a really vibrant red, you might need to like dull down the green. And vice versa. If you really want to like hype up the green, you can dull down the red. That's just something to watch out for because it looks like red is very like very dominant. It's very, it comes through a lot in the lighting. It's very red. Red and warm. But yeah, but it works really well with his green palette so far in the examples you've given. Was there anything else for this one? Any questions you had? Oh, also, this is just a personal preference thing. I think he would be so cute with a pair of like of glasses. That just speaks to like Greek history nerd in my heart. Just some little like rectangular glasses, that'd be so cute. Anyways. Awesome. Well, thank you, Kuro. Would anyone in chat like to go next? We have Pigment. We have Bed Squatter. He has reading glasses? Yes, good. I'm happy. We have Ink and Tori. Is anyone here who would like to go? I'm here, by the way. Just been chilling. Oh, hell yeah. Cool. Pigment, let's do your stuff. I'm good going whenever. Hey, Ink. Do you want to go after? So we could do Pigments and then Ink. And then if Bed Squatter or Tori are here, they can fight over who goes third. Okay. Let me see. All right. So the first is a silly drawing I made of Gira. I made it to be a server icon. Oh, cute. For a bot I made of her. General feedback. If you could tell me how you think I handled the rendering and marble effect on her skin, that'd be great. Okay. Oh, hey, Kairos. Oh, you're here. Okay. Awesome. If Tori's here, we've got the whole gang. Okay, so we'll do Pigments and then Ink and then Blanket Gremlin and then Tori. I don't have a critique this month, but I might in June or July. Ooh, exciting. Okay, so, right. So this is cute. So she's like trapped in the screen kind of thing for her bot for the server. That's cute. Okay. So, let me see. I think the work with the shadows is very she's in glass jail. Exactly. She's in a little glass box like a mime. Right, but the shading, it's like a little bit subtle and very like tidy. It feels like it really shows the shape of everything in this very kind of like, it's just like a little subtle touch. I think it works really well. Where it, like just the subtle shading like at her waist to show like the shape of it. Same with like her chest, her arms. I like how there's some like subtle highlights, some subtle shadows to really kind of show the different shapes of like the muscles. Same with her hair with all the different pieces, where it's not like overwhelming. It's very subtle and it works very well to show the shapes. I think it's the shading you've done here is really well done. I think there's some great contrast going on with her shirt and the jewelry and her hair as compared to like the background, which is very close in color to the kind of marble skin. Which I think works. I think it's like the right color choice because it makes like the warmth from like the gold and the red really pop. I think there's a bit of a contrast issue between the background and the skin tone. And I think all you need to do is either darken the background or darken the skin tone, like whichever one would build the contrast. I probably would darken the background so then she really pops out as like the kind of lighter shape. But yeah, but otherwise the colors are great. Like I love how the blue in her eyes really pulls out the blues in the skin tone. And then same with the reds and gold threads that go through. Like they just work really well with the other colors. And then, yeah, I really, and yeah, you were wondering about the marbling effect on the skin. I think you've done a very good job with following the forms while still keeping, I did the background last. I was like, oh yeah, she needs to not be in a white void. Fair, fair. Right, but I think you've done a good job with like following the forms. So I love it on the arms where there's some slight like compression on like the different marble threads where like as it kind of goes around the side of her arm, it like narrows a bit. It's just a good job like having the lines follow the shapes. Yeah, and then same on her waist. I think you've done really well there. And same with her face. I think it all follows like the shape of her face. I think there's a couple places like at the, oh, you can't see my cursor. Like right here, where you have this line that's coming up her shoulder and then it crosses over on her neck. I think there'd be like a little bit of displacement just because of like it would kind of go to the side of her neck and then curl up her neck, if that makes sense. So it wouldn't necessarily be straight across. It might like dip down here and then this line would be untouched on her neck. I hope that makes sense. But I think there's, because it works here at the bottom of her neck, not the nape of her neck, the bottom, because that is like a more kind of flat surface. Where I think there's a bit more, there'd be a bit more displacement between these two lines. But like, this stuff is like super subtle. But yeah, and that's like the only place I can really see it being an issue, because you've done it really well here on her arms, where like there's a band going around her upper arm, but then there's like new bands going around her forearm, obviously. So yeah. Yeah. And it makes sense for her fingers to have the bands going across, because it would be like, it feels like it's the same piece of rock that was then like carved out. Yeah. Do you have any questions about this one? Anything you wanted to know? It's really, really cute. I like her. Still kind of working on my process for how to draw her skin so it helps. Awesome. Well, I think you did a great job. It's got great texture and like shadow and form. So I think you're doing great. That's good. Awesome. So, okay. An illustration for a scene that happened in my D&D campaign. The knight character was looking for a ring for her girlfriend. Another general critique. Okay. It's really cute. Let me see. So the character designs are really cute. I like them. Okay, looking at the colors overall, it feels like there's two sections to it. So first I'll say the colors on the, this is the shopkeeper character, the minotaur looking character. But yeah, their colors are very cohesive. And then the knight character, her colors are all cohesive. And then it feels like the background behind the shopkeeper suits the colors of the shopkeeper, which I think is a great thing to do, because you want a character from that you know, you want a character to suit their environment, especially if they're like a kind of side or background character that just belongs to this one environment. And then for the night, I like how you brought in some of the kind of cool colors with like the grays and blues coming through on the jewelry, where it makes the night kind of blend into this area, but it's very split that way, where this area feels like it suits the night and then this area suits the shopkeeper. So I think it would be easy. I think it just needs to bring in a bit more of both the colors through it. Or I think we need some more kind of blues behind the shopkeeper. You have lots of blues kind of in the decorations, but maybe just like some more elements that have some blue in them. Like, I don't know whether that's like pillars going down the wall or like, I don't know, bringing in some blue to the shelves or some accents on the shelves. I'm not sure. You'd have to mess around with it. Or you could take the shopkeep and the background and kind of tilt them to the night's colors. But yeah. So I think like individually the pieces look good, but they're like clashing a little bit because they're not like intermingled through the whole thing. Make it more balanced. Yeah, exactly. But as for and like I said, the designs for the characters are fantastic, and the body language and posing is great. It's so good. Because, like, the emotions come through where the shopkeeper's like, oh my god, what are you doing? A little like, what do? And then, oh my god, I love the little claw marks from, like, staring and clawing. And the little nose pressed against the glass and the condensation on the glass from her breathing is like so funny and cute, and the tail wagging. So funny and so cute. Really great posing and expression. Yeah. I think the only other thing is I would say there should be a bit more breathing room kind of around, because our focal point should be like right here, if that makes sense. And it's very tight against the characters and the main focal point. I guess the main focal point is the night character staring at the jewels, and it feels like it's been pushed down to the bottom a little bit too much. So I think if you were to expand on it, just add a bit of breathing room around them. Whether that's showing more of the ceiling, showing more of like the display case at the bottom, and just kind of having more breathing room. And then the color stuff, and then otherwise I think it's great. She ended up not even buying one. She's making it herself instead. Aw. It's so cute. I love it. Yeah. Did you have any questions? Was there anything you were wondering about with this one? Also, have you shown this character before? The knight? The design looks really familiar. That's great. That should be good. Awesome. Awesome. I also appreciate you giving me the censored for YouTube version. It's Phasney? Okay. Awesome. Okay, so I have seen them. But yeah, I appreciate the black and white censor on the blood. All right. Right, zombified version. So this is Claudia. She'll be an NPC in the zombie campaign I'm planning to run next. Oh, cool. She recently became a magical girl and meets the party as she's returning to the mortal plane as well, and agrees to help them along their journey. I can't read. I was gonna say their journal. No problem, I got you. General crit and vibe check. Okay. as well as color choice. Okay, okay. Awesome. So, okay. I'll do the vibe check. So she looks kind of meek. She looks kind of shy and unsure of herself. It sounds like she's a guide character though. Interesting. Though I guess an NPC doesn't have to be a guide, right? They could be just someone who helps them through the story. They don't have to be like a mentor character. They can have their own struggles, right? But she looks kind of meek, kind of shy, a little unsure of herself. She looks young. Also being a magical girl, they tend to be, teenagers. Yeah. She's really cute. Right. As for the colors, I think they work well. Her side story is chock full of struggle. But she does help them figure out lore stuff. Okay, totally. Awesome. But yeah, her color palette works. So you've got these this dusty rose, pinky colors, and then she's got the brown skin and the brown hair. And then the hair goes pink in the magical girl form. I love her sandals. Those are really well rendered. As well as the lacing and stuff on the dresses. Like, it's really detailed and really pretty. I like it a lot. Yeah, so it looks like she's got a bit of some kind of rectangles. Like, they're not quite rectangles. Like, they have a bit of the frills to them, like, to match the lace. But, like, her head shape feels very, like, squared off. Her silhouette is very, like, in her normal form is very kind of rectangle, elongated. Love some Madoka stuff. Hell yes. Oh, love Madoka. Right. And then even though her magical girl dress has a bit of roundness from the skirt, there's still some square coming in through like the torso silhouette, the sleeves. I wonder if you could bring in a bit more of that kind of boxiness to the skirt. It's hard because you wouldn't want it. You're doing like this kind of like frilly magical girl dress. You wouldn't want it to be like super boxy because that would look weird. Where it's more like a round skirt with with tulle underneath. A petticoat? Is that what it's called? Yeah, like a petticoat underneath. But yeah, I think that would just suit her kind of rectangular shape a bit. Tokyo Mew Mew Blue Girl has a squarish dress. Oh, interesting. Main shape I was trying was the X's. Oh, interesting. The little star shapes on the frills and her bows. Oh, I can see that. Yeah, I can totally see the X shapes. Yep, because it's on her bows. You can kind of see it through the... Oh, sorry, you can't see my cursor again. You can kind of see that X shape through her silhouette. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, and then on her shoes, the stars, the bows, the belt, the necklace. You can even see it in the shape of her hair. Oh, that's really cool. It's subtle, but I like it. Interesting. I wonder if you could bring more of an X shape through this somehow. It could even come in through detailing on the dress, like maybe some, you know how like there'll be like decorative corset strings, like how they have that like little X crisscross down the side of things, but it could just be decorative. It might not have to like lace anything up. But maybe that on the sides of her dress, something like that, to bring the X in a little bit more through like this the skirt shape. Because I think the only element that feels weird is just the roundness of this upper part of the skirt. Because the frills look great, the belt works. Yeah, just bringing in that X somehow. I feel like you could do it easy. Yeah. Maybe, yeah. So as for the colors, so I feel like I'm on the fence a bit. I feel like the brown of her skin could be pulled to like a little bit of a warmer brown. Because I like the vibrancy of it. Like it feels like, because her clothing is like a little bit more dusty, it's a bit more desaturated, which I think works really well with having like some kind of like her warmer, more vibrant, like the browns of her skin and her hair. I just feel like there's a bit like the brown just has like a little bit too much yellow in it. It's a bit on like the cooler side of like the skin tone. I wonder if you pulled it like not too much, but just a smidge to like the red warmer side. It might work. Like I think it just needs like a touch over. Which I think would complement, because it would still be bright, it would still be vibrant and warm, but I think it would clash a little less with the dusty pinks and grays. Contrast wise, everything looks great. I love how the pink comes into the hair. It works really well with like the highlights on the dress. Yeah, I love her two designs. They work really well together. Yeah, and there's just so many nice little details. Like I love the little braids in the hair. Like they're more subtle on her her normal her normal look, or they stand out more in her magical girl look, but they're it's just so nice. And like the texture on the hair is great. It works really well with the frills. And then I'll look at the color version of the zombie version. Actually, yeah, because on her zombie version, her skin has been like dulled because like she's dead. And it feels like it was pulled a bit more in kind of like the red direction on the color wheel. So I feel like it suits her clothing color tones really well. But then like in her living version, obviously you want more kind of vibrant, alive skin where it works really well like with her. The desaturated skin works well for her zombie form. The little details on her tell like interesting story stuff. Like there's dirt on her shirt. Obviously she's got like the wound in her head and her chest, and then it looks like there's some marks on her wrists and ankles and her knees, and oh, it's scary. It implies bad things. Bad things happened. Well, obviously if there's like a wound in her chest and her head, but you know, it's subtle, but it adds to the creepiness. And then the color for the zombie, like I said, the skin tone really works. Makes her feel like a zombie. I like the dark circles under the eyes. I I like the subtle little color variant. I don't know if you can see it in the black and white version, but it stands out really well in the colored version where she's got kind of like some blue to her feet, where yeah, it just gives it kind of implies that, like, you know, she's a zombie. The blood has kind of pooled in her feet, which is a cool color choice. I wanted the characters in their zombie forms to tell a story, can tell a bit of what happened. Yeah, totally. I think you did a really good job with that. But yeah, the subtle color shift looks really cool. I love the legs and the feet, the way you've done them. I can see you've done it to the elbows as well. It would be cool to see it in her hands too. Though I don't know like what position she was, you know, she was zombified in, but if her hands were hanging down by her sides, then it makes sense they might be discolored like her feet. But yeah, it looks so cool. Does she get a zombie magical girl form? That's just me being curious. But yeah, this looks so cool. Did you have any questions on it? Was there anything you were wondering about? The party meets her as a zombie, and then she turns into her magical girl form. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay, cool. So she's healed up as a magical girl. Interesting. I think that's cool. Okay, magical. She's good. I don't know how much you know about D&D. I know nothing about D&D. I know the very basics from when I tried playing as a teenager. Magical girls are like liches, which are undead creatures. Oh, cool. Oh, I like that. That's a neat. I was wondering if you were doing D&D or if it was like a different tabletop RPG. Because I know there's other ones where, you know, you could slot in magical girls easily. That's good. Thanks for the critique. No problem. Thank you for submitting. All right, Ink. Where are you, my friend? Right, so you're saying you're working on your comic pages, but here's a couple of recent face practice sheets I did, and you want me to tear them apart. All right. I'll try my best. I'll try my best. Okay. So, right, so we have the two. Oh, me. Me all the time. Okay. Also me. I'm Abo down here. Okay. Right. Oh god, sorry, my throat made a weird heckin' noise. Okay. So okay. So I'll start at the top and work my way down. So we start with Abo up here. So it looks like we're slightly from above, which makes sense. And I think where you've placed all the features works really well. Because I think even if I couldn't see the little guidelines that were sketched in, I think you can tell just from like the angle on the nose and from the angle on top of the head that we're kind of, you know, the camera's up here, we're looking down at him a little bit. Yeah, I think the placement of the features works really well, where his nose is a bit closer to his mouth than maybe it would be. We see a bit more of like the bridge of his nose. Yeah, it's really cute. The expression's really cute. He looks all nervous and shy, ooh. But yeah, I think that works really well. The one thing I would say for it is I think the tops of his eyebrows feel a little bit too close to his hairline. Now, there is some compression because we're looking at from the top. So, like, if you look at me, you know, it makes my forehead look shorter. But I think hold on. There. Sorry. Okay. Right, but I think the tips of the eyebrows, like the inner corners, are a bit too close to the hairline. So I think you could bring them down and they might need to be like compressed a little bit if that makes sense, so they look a bit thinner. But you can still keep the shape. So you might also need to move the brows so they overlap the top of the eye a little bit, because when you look down, your eyebrows kind of cut into the shape of the eye. So I think if you just like squished the eyebrows down a little bit and then moved them down over the eyes a little bit, I think it would be perfect. So then this is this, oh, what's her name? It's not Legend, but it's something like that. What's her name? Ink, I need you. Right. So she's looking to the side. It's a good 3/4 view. Relic, that's it. Legend. Listen, she's a bit of a legend. What can we say? Right. So I think perspective wise, you've done a really good job with like the placement of the nose, the eyebrows, and like the eye on the far side. It's compressed really well because like when you turn, do a 3/4 view, the one eye looks kind of like squished horizontally. It kind of compresses that way. But I think you've done a good job. I like how you still see the shape of the eye past like the edge of the face. And yeah, proportionally, it works really well. Placed on the face really well. Same with the mouth. I like how the far corner is compressed again, but it still suits like the shape of the rest of the mouth. The only thing to look out for is it looks like her chin is kind of disappeared a little bit. I think if her mouth was closed, the chin would look great here, but since her mouth is open, the lower jaw needs to lower a little bit more. So I would honestly bring the tip of her chin, which would be like right here, I'd bring it forward a little bit, kind of follow where the nose is sitting. I can see in your guideline that it's curved. I think it's curved a little bit too much. But yeah, kind of follow where the nose is, so bring it out a little bit, and then have the jaw follow to open up a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, her chin just feels a bit small for how her mouth is positioned. But other than that, I think it looks great. And then, okay, so we can look at, is this the Mushroom Queen here? So we're looking at her from below. So I think you're on the right track, but I think things got a little out of line here. So I like what you've done with the placement of the chin, because if we're that below, we're gonna see the underside of the chin. And I like how you followed the shape of the jaw. I find this angle super hard to draw, by the way. So I really like how you've done the shape of the, what would you call it? The edge of the eye socket and then the cheekbone. Are the cat's acting out? The cat, Lear. Is Lear being a randy cat harassing the girls? The girl. Oh, there he goes. He's going in the timeout corner. Okay. Right, but anyways, I think you're following the shape of the jaw well. I think it gets a little wonky where it connects to the neck and to the close side of the jaw. Which can be hard to connect because it feels weird when you're learning it. So what I'd recommend, I think what's happening here, if we just focus on the chin here, so I don't know if you can see it well on my camera, but I'll try and lift up my neck and show you. But there's, I wish I knew the terms. I wish I knew my anatomical terms. But there's it's what you'd call like the Adam's apple, that kind of connection from the base of the neck to the bottom of the chin. So it hits like right here, kind of in the center of the underside of the jaw. And then it kind of stretches down to the bottom of the neck. So like here and then here. So I think you're kind of missing that shape. It feels like it's kind of just disappearing into the neck. So you need to put in that, not muscle, but that piece of the neck. And then to fill that out more. So I think the collar of the shirt needs to come forward a little bit. And then where the neck connects to the jaw is a little bit, it can feel weird. Just because, like, I don't know. There's a lot going on. There's hair in the way when you're studying it. But, because, yeah, the jaw would kind of curve up here. And, like, right here would be, like, the bottom of the ear, if that makes sense. So you'd carve that out. And then I think the neck is going the back of the neck is going a bit too far. So we'd probably like go here where the jaw meets the ear. And just from this angle, because there is more back there. Like the neck gets like tapers out when it hits the skull, but I think you've got the base of the skull placed down a bit too far. So I think the neck would go like straight up, and then the skull would kind of form here, if that makes sense. I think there's just too much tissue here going on. So yeah, so I think that would help with kind of shaping the neck and the bottom of the jaw. And then I think you've got your mouth and your nose in the right place, but the eyes feel pulled down a bit too much. I think this eye would be up here. I think you kind of got away from your guideline here. So this eye would go up. And I think that would really straighten this out. Because I think it's just the eye and then the neck and jaw are kind of the things that are out of place on this one. But I think it's a really good start. Yeah, because then if we go up here, so another kind of look from below. I think the upper part of the face you've done really, really well. There's some great overlap and perspective going on. I like because we're at like the 3/4 angle. The one eye disappears because it's being blocked by the nose. But we still see this eye. I think it's placed really well on the face. I think what's gone wrong is the nose and mouth and the chin have gotten a bit too condensed. Where I think the chin probably needs to come to like down here, just from this angle. And the neck needs to be pulled back a little bit. I wish I had my tablet so I could like draw lines, and I feel like that would be more helpful than me just trying to like explain it. But I think things are a bit too condensed here. I think you have a good shape that you could carve out here for the lower jaw, but then it would need to kind of triangle here. The nose would probably be up a bit more. I don't know. I feel like the jaw just needs a bit more space. I feel like it would kind of come down to like where her collar is, and then we'd still see like the underside of the chin, but her shoulders probably need to be dropped down a little bit more. I hope that one's helpful. I find when I'm drawing characters from below, because I find for me the jaw really messes me up, because you can look at the skull as like a square, but then you have the jaw, which has these kind of two triangle pieces. I guess this is how I visualize it. I don't know if this is actually true, but it has like two triangle pieces that are like the sides of the jaw. So it's like a triangle that comes down to the chin if you're looking at it from below. And I find that difficult to like place on the neck when I'm like looking at things from below, and I find like when the head turns, it compresses like the far side of the jaw in a way that my brain has trouble comprehending. So I find what really helps, I'd recommend sitting down and just doing some studies of a skull, instead of trying to like figure out like the placement of nose and mouth and eyes, like with all the skin and musculature. I find just sitting down and working with the skull was really helpful for me figuring out how to look at the face from below. Because I think you've got a good idea about like how the facial features compress. I think it's just the jaw shape that is giving you some trouble here. Yeah, it's hard because the neck is like a tube and attaches to the head, and then the jaw kind of wraps around it. It's weird to think about in 3D. Okay, so I'll move on. If you have any questions, Ink, please let me know. So, oh, I forget her name, not her face. Her name, it always escapes me. Does it start with an N? I think. Anyways, the expression is great. She looks so like, she looks like she is so so done. Nira, that's it. She's so done with whomever she's talking to. Medical, you being bad. Our dog Matica, she learned as a puppy. She once had a Kong full of treats and she threw it, and the treats came out. So now, when she can't get anything out of her Kong, she throws it to try and get treats out of it. But it had peanut butter, so there's no treats coming out. Okay. But yeah, the expression is just so good. She looks like she's giving someone a death stare of disgust. But yeah, the facial features are all placed really well. There's some good structure to the face. I think the jaw and everything align really well. If anything, I think her ear could be brought a little bit closer and the jaw could kind of end a bit sooner, like right below her her little, not sideburn, but the little hair piece in front of her ear. I think the jaw could end there, and then the ear would start a bit sooner. But otherwise, I think it looks great. Everything connects really well. Everything's really well balanced. Okay, and then we'll go to the last abo down here. And I think this is a really well done version of like the look from below at the face. Where I think you've got the shape of the jaw done really well. Where you can see there's a bit of a better connection with that, like the Adam's apple piece. And I think part of it is that you have his beard to kind of help guide where everything goes, because the beard will end like at the neck, right? Whereas like if you're looking at someone who doesn't have a beard or is clean shaven, it can be, you can get kind of lost in the shapes, but the beard helps kind of make those forms. I think, so I like how you've put in, like you've added a bit of a line within the beard texture to show like the bottom of the chin and then the closer part of the jaw here. So I think the chin needs to be moved down a little bit because like the tip here would be, it's compressed, but it's his chin as well as like the other tip of the jaw is kind of hidden back here, but I feel like this would be like the chin, right? So I think like the line on his beard needs to be like down here, and then the rest can follow from there. But otherwise, I think it looks great with the down below look. I think his mouth is shifted off to the side a little bit. I feel like it should be centered a little bit more. It would probably, his beard might need to be pushed back a bit, but his mouth would probably be like, yeah, over here a little bit. Yeah, but otherwise I think it's great. I think his eyes are placed well. The shape of the head looks great. Yeah. Did you have any questions, Ink? Anything you were wondering about for these? I hope my explanations make sense and they're not just useless and weird. Make sense so far? Okay, awesome. Okay, so trying to draw as difficult angles as possible. It's a good exercise. It really is. It's one I need to do more. I fall into little what would you call it? I don't know. I cut corners. I need to practice it more myself. Okay, so I think this one is great. This top one with the masked fella looking down or doing like a from below shot. I think this works really well. There's good compression and perspective on the face. I like how there's overlap of the eyes in front of the eyebrows because of the angle we're at. That works really well. I think having these lines on the mask really helps like show the shape of the face easier. But it can be harder when you're just drawing like a face without a mask or these markings or anything. But yeah, really great perspective on it. The only thing I would say is I think there needs to be a bit more space with the chin. I like how you've drawn kind of the bottom of the mask. It connects to the neck really well. I just think there'd be like a little bit more space, like maybe from where his chin is to like where it touches the Mushroom Queen. Like that's probably like how much space I would give it. A little bit, just when you're like putting in the shadow and everything. But otherwise it looks great. So then we're looking at the Mushroom Queen the Mushroom Queen from above. So her little mushroom is overlapping a little bit. Yeah, I think the position of like her eyes and her hairline, her nose, her mouth, the jaw, I think it all works really, really well. Um, it's in perspective really well. It does feel like we're looking at her from above. I think the mushroom is a little bit pushed forward a little bit too much. I think it needs to be pulled back a little bit because like we're looking down, but we're not like severely over top of her, if that makes sense. Like we're more the camera, if it was my hand, it would be like here, not like here, which it feels like for the mushroom. So I would just pull it back a little bit. That makes sense. But yeah, but otherwise the face looks great. The expression is good. She looks very like I don't know. There's something sinister. Like she's smiling and she's like it looks like she's offering me a deal and the answer is there's like no way out of the deal, you know? It's like either you walk out of here or you die and it's like I guess I walk out of here. You know? It's that kind of expression. There's something about it. I think there's just something about the eyes that's very like threatening. um okay, and then I'm assuming this is Relic down here. Oh, pardon me. Right, so we've got the 3/4 view. Her eyes are closed. I think if this was someone other than Relic. Okay, sorry. The perspective on the face looks great. So the 3/4 view works really well. The eyes feel really balanced. The mouth and nose placement work. Jaw placement is great. The only issue is I think her the cheekbone is a bit too flat and the jaw feels like just a bit too thin, like the face feels very thinned out. Now if this was another character who is very kind of like thin and you know, had a very narrow face, I think this would work really well. But Relic, knowing that she's a bit more like a round character, it just feels too skinny for her model. But, you know. So if I were you, I would bring out the cheekbone a little bit and kind of round out the jaw at the bottom so it looks a little bit less pointed. But otherwise it looks great. So then if we go over here to the other Relic, looking the other way, I think the face shape is great. I think you captured it there really well, where it's the right amount of roundness. The nose and mouth are placed really well. The hair is placed really well. I think her far eye is placed really well. I like how it, like I said before with your other 3/4 views, the compression and perspective on it looks really good. I think her eyebrow above it is a little bit too close to the middle of her face. It needs to be pulled out a bit. And then the close eye feels a little bit out of line. So like if you look at your guidelines that you've drawn in, the bottom of her close eye is higher up compared to the far eye. So it would need to be brought down. I'd probably bring it a bit closer to her hairline, honestly. Yeah, and I think this eye that's closer to us has been compressed a bit too much. I think you need to widen it a little bit and then kind of mess around with the placement. But otherwise her face looks super structured. It's really on model. The expression is really cute. She looks like embarrassed or sad. A little bit of both. Looking a little bashful. Okay, and then if we go to the Mushroom Queen up here, so it's a bit more of a straight on. The expression is great, especially the eyes, like they're very expressive. The jaw really works for how the mouth is positioned. The placement of the features is great. I think the only thing I would say for her mouth shape is if she's pulling up the corner of her mouth like that, like I can't do it because I'm not a cartoon character, but you know, if your lips are pulled up in like a snarl or a smile, there's a bit of like these muscles here on your cheek, high on your cheek, compress. So I think her one eye here that's closer to the side of the mouth that's being pulled up would be squinting a little bit, if that makes sense, like the muscles like pushing on it. So that's the one thing I would change there. And I'm not exactly sure about the mushroom placement. It looks like it's hanging over her face, but it could also be back. I think it's just because it's a sketch, it's hard to tell. But the face and the structure look great. Ink, do you have any questions on these? I think that covers it very good. Awesome. Well, thank you for submitting and letting me tear apart your studies. All right, Tori, are you here? Are you here, my friend? Oh, wait, sorry, Bed Squatter. Bed Squatter is here. I said would go before Tori. My bad. Okay. So, you have two characters that are here. And you're looking for general critique on the design. So the first and second image is Sumigi Metal. A character mentioned in passing before slowly integrating into the main cast after a minor appearance. Okay, gotcha. So this is for the kind of mixed genres story that we've seen before. Okay. Okay, so do you want like okay, I'll do like a vibe check. So, Sumigi looks very stoic. He looks very, yeah, he's got like this seriousness to him, this very like stoicness. He looks like he could be that kind of quiet swordsman type, if that makes sense, where they like, okay, I'm thinking of like Samurai Jack, where they show up and they're quiet, but they're like kind at heart. Yeah. But yeah, that's just the vibe I get. Like maybe kind of serious, but like a little softy as well. Right, and then it looks like he's got some health issues, some hospital stuff going on, some IVs. Then it also looks like he can fight. He's doing some training. Okay. A worldly traveler sought for his experience, now hoping to recapture that fame despite his sickly conditions. Oh, bless him. All right, I'll read the character. He's meant to be a mentor character that hasn't graduated into that role yet. Until some humility is slapped onto him. He's been humbled. Okay, okay, he's indirectly responsible for a lot of the early events in the story. Oh. Okay, so he's gonna create an evil character. Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, right. So he's mentioned in passing and then becomes like a more central character. Okay. Cool. Right. So he's kind of, he wants to become that kind of like mentor master character, but he's kind of stuck before he can get to that because of his illness. And he's maybe got some bravado or like overconfidence in himself that gets him into trouble. Like he wants the fame that he had in the past, kind of thing. It's interesting. He reads just so soft to me. I think part of it is like I picture characters who are very like attention hungry, for lack of a better word. Like I see them as more kind of like smug. But I like how he's got this kind of like reservedness to him. Where it's very interesting. It makes him feel like a bit more of a kind of serious, tragic character. But yeah, I really like the softness. I like the kind of fluffiness to his hair. He's got very kind of like soft eyes, a very neutral expression where like the expressions are very subtle, like a subtle smile or like a subtle frown or looking more worried versus more angry. Like it's very small differences. Oh, okay. So he was a martial arts instructor and travel guide. Oh, interesting. Hi, Vito. What's up? Vito, what's on your nose? What? You have a little Vito. Hey, bud. Oh. You gonna blep into the mic? Hey, buddy. Little Vito. Okay, I'll let you go. I don't think you want to be here. Okay. Puppy. a little puppy cameo. Okay. Right, but I love the kind of subtle softness to his character. He's got this very like, there's some like gravity to the shapes that you're using, if that makes sense. Like it feels very, he feels like deflated. And I think it's like the shape of the clothing, the shape in the hair, where like maybe in the past he was more kind of like puffed up and cool looking, but now he's very like tired, worn out, very deflated looking. Yeah, I think there's just like a subtle downturn to everything. Tried to make him somewhat like a ghost. I think you achieved it. I think you did well with like, yeah, everything just feels like it's kind of like gravity's pulling down on him in his shapes. I also like how, because this looks like a previous, oh, dang it, my cursor. This version of him, you know, looking like a martial artist. I like how his hair has more like luster to it. His colors are a bit more vibrant. And then in his current state where he's more sick and worn out, I like how you've dulled the colors. Like they feel a bit washed out. I think that's a nice touch. I also like the subtle little blue shade on his knees. That matches the hospital gown. I think that's a nice little touch. I wonder if you could bring that in more. Because I know with like this sheet there's some subtle like dark circles under his eyes. I wonder if you could bring that in more like as you have it on his knees and the eyes. It'd be interesting on the fingers, because I know if like again, like I don't know what his condition is, but like if you're having trouble with like blood flow, your fingers can be kind of bluish and cold. He gets bruised easily. Ah, okay. Poor guy. I feel bad. Being sick sucks. Yeah, did you have any questions? Was there something I missed? A general critique of the design? Yeah, I think his design works really well. Did you have any questions about it? Was there anything you were like wondering about or struggling with? Oh, I didn't notice the little breathing tube. Oh, poor guy. I was also wondering about like because you have him in a wheelchair. That's all for him? Okay. The wheelchair for when his condition worsens. I was just wondering because and you see like you have in this picture like he's holding on to the IV stand. I wonder, would he have like a cane or something, or a walker maybe before the wheelchair? I'm just thinking the cane would be interesting. He gets a cane in better days. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, because I was just thinking, like, design wise, if he goes from, like, being the martial artist using, like, the quarterstaff to, like, do his, his talent. I wonder if you could do, like, a parallel thing with him having the cane and just showing, like, the what do we call it? I guess, like, the progression of his condition. The wheelchairs for sneaking past security. Very good. Wheeling out of there. Let's go. Yeah, I just think it would be an interesting like parallel visual, but obviously it depends on what you want for the story. He uses a mop. And drip staff as a makeshift staff. Bless. For fighting. I love that. Hell yeah. But yeah, what a cutie. Right. And then we have this character. Second is part of a project where I redesigned the characters and plot of an old story. I have some problems with figuring out his color palette, since he's meant to be a ninja. But I do want to add some other colors to keep him from being monotone. Oh, gotcha. Okay. So you're having trouble with the colors. I see. Right, because he's got this kind of like blue lavender and lots of grays and blacks. And then dark kind of gray hair. Gotcha. Right, because you want the clothing to be dark, but you don't want it to be all the same. Okay. I think, okay, from the design perspective, before I go into colors, I think everything feels very cohesive. Like he's got a lot of kind of horizontal lines going through the design with like the belt, the arm wraps, the sword, the belts, the headband, the little cowl. I'm sure it like comes up to cover his face. But yeah, lots of interesting like horizontal line slashes throughout. I think that balances out the design really well. Um, you've got all these kind of like fan shapes going through where the hair kind of fans out. His the tie around his waist kind of fans out. The shape of the pant legs fans out. Same with like his shoes and feet. Which I think is a great design touch. Feels very cohesive. The one thing I will say, he's got the wraps on his legs and arms, but there's nothing of the sort around his head. I don't think you need to put like a bandage or white wrap like around his head at all, but I think he needs kind of like that little white or light gray element to kind of like balance it out. Which could be hair color, it could be an attachment on the headband. I'm not sure. You'd have to see what works for the character, but I think it's missing that from in the head area. So then for colors, right? So you've got this kind of base black. There's this kind of purpley indigo over shirt. Got the more bluey color on the belt, and then the browns on the sword belt and the rope. Right, because the browns and then this little red amulet that he's got, it matches well with his eyes because you've got the little kind of red, and the red shines through on the sword, with the brown, which is kind of like a reddy brown. Again, I think there needs to be like one more reddish element to balance it out. Because you've got the stuff around his middle, you've got it in his face. It feels like there just needs to be one more element kind of in the either the center of the body or around the feet. It needs that kind of like a red tinge to it. It doesn't have to be as bright as this amulet or his eyes, but like just needs that one little bit of the brown to pull it back in. I think that would be a good through line. And then I wonder if you could push the indigo in the blue. I wonder if maybe, because if you're thinking about like camouflage, maybe for this overshirt, he's got around his shoulders. I wonder if maybe you could brighten it up a bit. So keep it this kind of like violet indigo color. Maybe brighten it up a bit. And I wonder if you could put in maybe some like leaf patterns, if that makes sense. Like kind of like how you'd put a design on like a piece of silk. Because I could see that blending in well, like if you say hiding in a tree or something or up high. I feel like that could give him a vest, a red hue instead of the blue purple. Yeah, totally, that too. Yeah, maybe bringing it more to the red side as well. But yeah, I wonder if bringing in some pattern on his accessories might also help with like keeping variety in the colors. Hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to think. So if the overshirt, the vest is reddish, then he's got the gray kind of underclothing. Then he's got the blue sash. Yeah, I wonder if maybe if you made the vest a bit more red, like keeping it dark but more of that reddish color. I wonder if you could bring, instead of having the blue on the belt on the tie around his waist. I wonder if you could bring in... I personally really like that kind of purple blue color. Just because I think it's a good bridge between like the black and the red. So I wonder if you could bring that into like the tie around the waist. And you could also do like a parallel, like a tie around the headband as well. So they could be like parallel colors. I did think of giving his overshirt white lines on the sleeve edges. Yeah, that would be good too, because I think that would bring in the like the leg and arm wraps in. If you had like the white line. That could work. Yeah, I think that would bring it in well. You could also do like a white tie for his ponytail, like the little ribbon there. Using white as well could also bring in the leg wraps to the upper part of the character. Yeah. But yeah, I feel you. It's hard when you have... Yeah, I find it hard with characters who are supposed to be like dressed all in black kind of things. It's like, ugh, how do I bring color into this? But yeah, I hope that was helpful. Did you have any questions about it? Was there anything that I did not cover that you would like answers for? Mm. I like your use of textures, by the way. You always have like oh, maybe not always, but I like the use of textures here. I feel like you've done it in the past too. That's all for him? Awesome. Thank you for submitting. Cool. Is Tori here? If not, I'll just dive into it. Tori, if you see this, you can poke me on Discord and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Okay. But you said I'm trying to get better at digital painting, so I'm submitting a work in progress illustration that I'm stuck on. Once I have to light an environment, it gets so tricky. Oh, I feel you. Listen. I'd love some feedback on the overall color palette, composition, and how to fix the lighting. It's a D&D inspired painting. Story is one that my halfling cleric is trying to use a dream spell scroll to communicate with her best friend, the tiefling guy, who's been in a long magical sleep. Oh, baby. They're both halfling size, so they're supposed to look short. Okay. And I could probably push that more. I think that the walls or duvet... Oh my god, sorry. I think that the area around the candle/lantern looks too bright and I need to make the object clearer. I think it also might be nice to add an elegant pattern to the walls or duvet because they're supposed to be in a fancy house. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so... okay, so as for the characters, because you mentioned they're halfling size, so they're supposed to be small. I think the bed could be a bit wider. Oh, actually, I don't know. Because in my head, I was saying I was thinking it's like a double bed or like a queen size bed, but if it's like a single size, I think they're the right size for it. If it's like a twin size bed, they feel small enough. But if it was supposed to be queen or double, I think you might want to make it wider. Yeah, but I think they're a good size for the characters. So, right. So she's using a dream scroll. She's got the lantern. So first off, the colors are really beautiful. I think you've done a really good, a good job choosing the colors. They feel very cohesive. You've got a nice balance between like the yellows, and the warm colors, which really pop against all the blues and purples. The reds that you've used for the tiefling skin. I like how you've incorporated them elsewhere to do some kind of like bridges between like the cool and warm colors. It feels very, very cohesive color wise. So I think that you did a great job there. It does feel very dreamlike. I like how you're kind of blending some of the objects so that it feels kind of like the magic is seeping in, and you know, the dream scroll is working its way through things with the little sparkles. And the way the bed is kind of blending into the background a bit and becoming kind of dreamlike. Whereas when it's touching the light from the lantern, it feels more solid. So I like that dynamic of like the cooler colors kind of get dreamy. Everything in the light is a bit more solid. I think I agree with you. I think you said that you wanted to solidify the shape of the lantern a bit more. Oh, right. You said it looks too bright and you want to make it clearer. I don't think it's too bright. I like the brightness. It feels like a good, it works well with your halfling character because she's like the brightest yellow here, where like the brightness is on like her arms and torso, her cheek. You see it the same highlights like on his cheek and his chest. So I think those are the brightest, which works really well. It really brings the focus in here, which is where we want it. But this isn't the lantern. It complements it, but it's not so bright that it's like pulling focus away from these characters. I guess you could tone it down a bit. You could bring it more into these kind of like peachy oranges that you have on her dress. But I think it would be helpful to solidify the object a bit more. So adding in some more kind of darker shadows around the base kind of thing, darkening the shadows on the side table, and then darkening some of the shadows kind of below this pillow here, because you have some good shadows over here, like beneath her side of the pillow, where it feels very structured. Where here it feels a little bit lost in like the haze of the light. Because the way you've done the faces is really great. I love the texture work. I love these really kind of solid lines where the light is hitting, solid shapes. I think if you did the same treatment for like the lantern and like the tiefling side of the bed, I think that would work really well, because it's like where the light is really hitting, it gets really focused, and then it gets kind of dreamy as it goes out beyond the circle of light, if that makes sense. But yeah, color-wise, this looks fantastic. And yeah, like I said, I love the detailing on the face. It feels nice and painterly, but still very structured. The contrast stuff is great. What else did you say? Feedback on old color palette composition and how to fix the lighting. Right, and then adding patterns to the bed and stuff. I think that could work. I wonder too if, because it looks like it's a 4-poster bed. I guess it might not be, but it could be. So I wonder if you could add in some kind of like billowing kind of transparent curtains. They could match really well with the shape of the scroll. You could even bring in some of these like kind of silvery colors on it. And it could be really subtle. Like I'd maybe drape them like over here. You could maybe have a bit of it kind of fluttering in the foreground, a little bit of it over here next to your halfling character. Just to show like a little bit of curtains, a little bit of that flowiness from the scroll. I think that would work really well and bring that color in through it. I love the texture on his knee right here. It's just nice. You've got a nice transition of this like warm color to the cool colors. It really defines the shape of the knee. There's just something about it that I love. This knee right here. But you can see the same textures like in the face. I love that there's texture in it. It really adds to it. It brings a lot of depth to it. But yeah, I think you're right. I think you do need to bring in some solid shadows around this lantern / candle. And I think you need to define this space between the lantern and the tiefling. I think that would really strengthen the composition. Because I feel like, where you look, I feel like you look at her face first. You can follow her arm up to his face, and then the color of the lantern really kind of brings you to this line from her to the lantern, and then you can be brought down to the... I think you need some kind of bridge between the lantern and the scroll visually. That could be the curtain. That could be the four poster bed curtain to kind of bring you from over here to down here. But yeah, just something to think about. You could also do it through like use of the light and color as well, using some like brighter colors to kind of bring you down over here. Pardon me. But yeah, the contrast, the colors, it's so nice. It's so dreamy and cute. Right, and adding the pattern. I would honestly, if you're gonna add a pattern, I would put it on the bed. I think if you added it to the walls, it would pull away from the detail of the focus, because you want the focus on your characters here, right? So I think if you used a pattern that became more subtle as it went away from them and became more detailed, like around their shoulders and their faces, I think that would really strengthen it and kind of add that, like, you know, this is a fancy house kind of feeling. You could also make the lantern ornate if you wanted to make it feel fancy. You could add some, like, I don't know, you could put like a fancy little holder that it's in, or like a really fancy shape for the lantern. But yeah, that's what I would say. If you're gonna add the texture, I'd put it on the bed so you keep focus. And if you did add it to the walls or the floor, I would make it very subtle. Yeah. So Tori, I don't think you're here, so I don't know if you have any questions. If you do, like I said, message me on Discord. I'm happy to answer. But otherwise, that's it. That's all she wrote. That's all we got today. So thank you all for joining us and watching. If you yourself would like to submit your artwork or writing or comic script, whatever you got, if you would like to submit it for critique next month, you can join our Patreon. There should be a link in the description, and then it has all the information you need to figure out how to submit. Yeah. Thank you all for joining. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.